24th, 2011 Conservation Commission meeting. For conservation. Approved minutes. Anybody got any additions or corrections?
I did not have any. Did anyone else? Did anyone have any corrections?
I did not.
Okay.
All good.
I would move that we accept the minutes as written for May 10th, 2021.
Second.
All those in favor? Somebody's got to do the roll call.
Oh,
All right.
Al?
Yes, sir. Sarah Seward,
Sarah Seward, aye.
Carl Melberg, aye. Andrew Samarco,
Andrew Samarco, aye.
James Pickard,
James Pickard, aye.
Brian Crowley,
Brian Crowley, aye.
Kyle Maxfield,
Kyle Maxfield, aye.
and Julie Rupp.
Julie Rupp, aye.
That's unanimous.
Great. Administrative discussion, 28 Winchester informal discussion.
Okay. I believe that we have applicant here, as Amy said. So if you are here, if you want to jump on in and introduce yourself, give your address, and give you a few minutes.
Hi, I'm Phil Morris at 28 Westchester Drive. I'd just like to introduce to you a proposal for a workshop space on an existing foundation in my backyard. This is
Alicia Day. Hi.
Hey, Alicia.
Hi, Andrew. Hi, Julie.
so I do have a Word document I put together to show the plan if you think that's appropriate.
Sure. So Andrew,
We need to
if you want
see
to
that.
allow him to share his screen, that would be great.
Sure, let me see if I can figure
You're
out.
already allowed.
Oh, perfect.
Excellent. Thank you, Amber.
Okay. So I should be sharing now.
Yep.
Okay, so I just want to introduce the wish list of what we're planning to do. We'd like to build a 2-story workshop on an existing foundation. The first floor will be for my hobbies, which is working on cars and motorcycles and some woodworking. The second floor will be for Alicia, whose hobby is making things out of stained glass. We would additionally like to have lean-tos on the side for wood storage and to park a trailer. Now if I go down and show you, just need to move the participants out of the way. So this is the existing plan. Let me just zoom out a little bit. So you can see Westchester Drive across the north side of the property, the existing driveway and house. And there's a foundation from an existing structure that was partially built and then demolished that sits on the property. So these are the pictures that I've just sketched together for what we're intending to do. Please stop me if you want me to slow down or if you have questions.
You got a plot plan?
Yeah, there should be one included, or actually no. So that was just the top one. This is the sketch I put together. There is an official plan for the house that doesn't include the foundation that's lodged with the town. I do not believe a plot plan exists for the barn as it was intended to be built back in 2008 when they put in the existing foundation. I believe they started the application for planning but never completed it. So this is the only thing I have showing the foundation of the barn with respect to the plot lines.
But we do have some Google images that I believe are further on the document, right? From 2008?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you want, we can skip down to the Google bird's eye view showing where the foundation is.
That would be a good idea.
So I didn't actually include the plot lines. If you'd like, I can the GIS map. This is the parallel street on Ipswich. This is the foundation that's existing, and I tried to kind of sketch where the kind of swampy land boundary is with respect to the foundation.
Has that been determined?
Do you mind explaining what you mean by determined?
Have you had an engineer come out or a wetland specialist and flagged it?
No. So if that,
I think what Amy had said is this is part of the discovery phase. Can you
Mhm.
tell us the description of the foundation that is there? Does it have a concrete pad or the depth? Tell us a little bit of if you know how it was built and what is there existing.
so I've not dug down to see how deep the concrete foundation goes, but right now it is just a 8-inch wide concrete strip that you can see the outline of. There is no pad.
Okay.
My assumption is that it's deep enough to meet code for frost.
Will you scroll up to
Okay.
the one of the picture from 2008? Because that might give
I
an
don't
idea.
think I have that in here.
That one there.
Oh, there. Okay, all right.
And then in 2008, did they come in front of the commission to have that built or the foundation to be built?
Of Conscom, I do not.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
We've not seen any records of that discussion when I did a search for it, so I'm assuming not.
Okay. Because even though it was prior to the 50-foot no build zone, it still would have had to come in with its proximity to the wetlands because it was in the 100-foot, obviously.
Mhm.
Okay. So the original structure wasn't permitted, to your knowledge.
I would assume you're correct. Yes. So I don't know that it's been permitted.
Okay. Thank you.
So what would you request of them, Sarah?
Well, gosh, I think it would, they'd have to think of waiver, and comes foremost to my mind that it's not really an existing structure based on what they're looking to put in. I think the proximity to the wetlands is very close for a large structure of that means. But what do the other commissioners feel?
Do we have a rough idea as to how close it is to the resource area?
I think he just had on that previous map 24
Yeah.
feet.
Oh,
That's why I was wondering if it had been flagged.
And it is kind of an ephemeral area. So you have, I would say, maybe 11 to 10 months out of the year, it's pretty dry. And when we have our snow melt and the really heavy rains in spring, then we tend to have a lot more water in that area.
But when Amy came out, the water was basically where I sketched here. But I took a picture this morning, and you can see it's bone dry now, and it'll stay that way until next spring.
So I think what you need to do is make that determination that Jim was asking about, whereas you get an official delineation done,
Mhm.
where you have a professional come out and he puts in the wetland boundary, because that's the key to this whole discussion.
I agree with that, Carl, but where it's a new build in a resource area, I wouldn't want them to have to spend that money if the commission is not going to have a discussion of a waiver as well.
So are you saying, Sarah, that no matter what, that 24 foot is probably is probably the wetland boundary, or?
Yeah, so there's no chance that it's greater than 50 feet away, right? Is that what you're trying to ask? Carl?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to ask.
Exactly. Yeah. I think it's worth having an engineer come in and look at it, but I don't know that if the engineer comes in and says it's within 25, 30 feet, I don't know that, I think it would be very expensive to come up with a plan that I don't know it would meet the waiver requirements.
No,
So
I
I just don't want people spending money on something that
Yeah,
may not be permitted.
I understand what you're saying. Why did they take the walls down of the barn?
I can show you the picture of how far they got before they foreclosed on the house. So they built this, then they foreclosed, and one of our neighbors got the town to demolish it as a safety concern.
Oh,
But it's interesting, Carl, that they never had a permit to do that though, because that was still in a resource area.
and is there any record of a building permit?
There was an application started, but it lapsed, so it was never completed.
There was never a building permit either.
That's correct.
So we are kind of starting from scratch.
We're starting the process from scratch, though I do have an existing foundation in my yard.
Yeah, but the foundation was put in without a.
Yeah, I understand that.
Non-conforming, non-permitted with the Conservation Commission.
That's correct, yeah.
Phil, the other complicating factor is because the foundation doesn't have any slab to it, you'd be creating something impermeable where you now have a permeable surface. So that just makes your battle a little bit tougher.
So is there any? So looking at alternatives, do you have any alternatives for moving the structure? Even though I know you have the foundation, but is there any option for moving it beyond that 50 foot?
I think the answer's got to be no, just because of the plot plan itself. We have this utility easement that is only 20 feet away from the edge. So even if I moved it the maximum distance away, I would still be, within that 50-foot keep out zone you talked about. And it would also, if they did need to do any remedial work on the water main that runs through here, it would put my building under risk of undermining.
So it's a utility easement that's a town holds?
Yes, it is. I can't remember if it's a 10-inch or a 12-inch main, water main running through there.
Right.
The foundation's definitely from 2008. Do you know that?
I think they started in 2006 when I was, because I went through the assessor's website and I was looking through the GIS, and they have different year increments you can look at. So the last time, I think the farthest back that I saw it was 2006. So it seems like they started that. And then right before they knocked it down, I believe you bought it in 2008.
Yeah, I bought it in 2008, and that's when it was just a foundation.
Okay.
So
I guess it's gonna bear some more research on that and see if there are any permits that are still valid or anything.
does the wetland connect to a much larger wetland, or is it just an isolated wetland?
There's no connection directly. On the other side of Ipswich Drive, there is a pool, but there is no connection between the two. They both drain into stormwater drains independently.
Okay.
I would suggest that the board goes out and does a site inspection.
Well, I think if the board's going to go out, then he would have to have it flagged. So.
Yeah.
So I I guess the question's popping up in my head. The only potential way out of this, if it's an isolated wetland
I don't,
of a certain size.
right. So you'd have to hire an engineer for that for sure.
Okay.
Okay.
I would think maybe, in my mind, if you could do it on the existing foundation with no wings on the sides, just so it's just plain using the existing foundation period.
Okay.
It might be, I would think, a possibility, but I don't know for sure.
Oh, wait.
It's a great suggestion. Thank you. 'Cause, yeah, it doesn't.
All right. Well, we wish you good luck. We've got to.
Yep, we got to
Thank you.
move along.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry, thank you.
Thanks a lot for your time.
So we have a
Six.
7:45.
6 Cricket Lane. Certificate of compliance.
Is there anyone here that wants to speak to that? Amy felt as though it would need a site walk.
Okay, then we can just pass along.
Okay, so we'll try and do a site walk on that. You do have a 7:45, Chairman, if you want to go ahead and take that, we can come back to the discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here for the 7:45. This is Matt Donovan. Just wanted to let you know. Just wanted to check in.
Okay, so let's go
Continued
ahead.
public meeting, request of determination of applicability, Keolis commuter service, wetland delineation information for vegetation management. Continued to May 24th, 2021, request for applicant be present. And according to my notes here, I can find it. I don't see it right this minute.
So Matt, do you want to jump in and introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone. This is Matt Donovan from FTC Engineers. I'm here representing Keolis Commuter Services. So this RDA is for the vegetation management plan for the 2021 to 2025. It was just when this RDA was submitted to you, it was in the review process by the Department of Agricultural Resources. Since then, it has been approved, and the yearly operational plan after that has been approved. The VMP and the yearly operational plan go hand in hand. And so, yeah, it's been an ongoing maintenance. We've come to your commission every year with this, and it's a renewal. So when we submitted the maps to Amy, I've been in contact with her back and forth quite a bit since the submittal, and I believe she had taken it to you guys and came up with several areas that needed to be reviewed. We made some changes before just on a desktop review to add no spray zones in a couple of different places, and then when we did go out, and there were a few that required us to go look at to get a better idea of what is out there. And we did confirm the other areas in the field, and I added one additional no spray zone with regard to a vernal pool that was off in the distance. So yeah, this is, like I said, this is vegetation management needed to control vegetation management along the right of way. It happens every year. The markings are in the field, so there's a spray truck that goes out to perform the chemical application. There's also physical and mechanical for where there is limited spray zones. Like I had said, we added limited spray zones. There will be mechanical vegetation management in those areas and along the whole right of way, but particularly in those areas because we won't be able to spray chemicals there. So I can open the discussion up to the commission if there's any questions. I know I kind of was just going, but yeah.
Anybody got any questions? If not, should we vote on this?
Yep.
Somebody want to make a motion to approve termination of application for Keolis commuter service?
Yeah, so we are requesting a negative determination. Last time it came to positive determination is okay as well. Last time it came to your commission, it was a positive and a negative determination. The positive for confirming the maps and the negative to allow them to perform the vegetation management.
I thought I saw someplace a negative.
Right, yeah.
Ooh. Don't remember now where I saw it. Somebody need to make a motion to approve this?
Sure. I'll make a motion that we close this hearing and issue, I think we had talked about being a positive 2A determination and then a negative 5, which was similar to, I believe, what they did in 2016, correct?
Do we hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
All right. Yeah, Carl Melberg, aye. Sarah Seward,
Sarah Seward, aye.
James Pickard,
James Pickett, aye.
Andrew Samarco,
Andrew Samarco, aye.
Brian Crowley,
Brian Crowley, aye.
Kyle Maxfield,
Al Maxfield, aye.
Julie Rupp,
Julie Rupp, aye.
unanimous.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks for working with Amy on updating those maps.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Looks like we got about 10 minutes. Request for a certificate of compliance, 185 Harvard Road, Chestnut Lane, Mass DEP file number 204649. I believe this is the closeout one, and there's another one that's already renewed or something. I understand her notes.
I move that we order a certificate of a compliance for 185, excuse me, Harvard Road, Mass DEP 204649.
I'll second.
Oh,
Yep, all those in favor, Carl Melberg, aye. Sarah Seward,
Sarah Seward, aye.
James Pickard,
James Pickett, aye.
Andrew Samarco,
Andrew Samarco, aye.
Brian Crowley,
Brian Crowley, aye.
Kyle Maxfield,
Al Maxfield, aye.
Julie Rupp,
Julie Rupp, aye.
unanimous.
Okay, request certificate of compliance, lot 13 Chestnut, Mass DEP file number 204-723 for work never done and order expired, new order in place. I guess that's what I was looking at. So we need to close.
Are there backup notes that this is ready to be issued certificate?
Beg your pardon?
Are there backup notes that this is ready to receive a certificate?
Sounds like there's a new order in place, so this one
Yeah, this one
expired.
is expired. We have to close it out so the new one, there's a new one in place.
Okay. Oh, for the work that was never done. Okay. I would like to make a request for a certificate of compliance, lot 13, Chestnut Lane, Mass DEP 204-723. Work was never done. Closing the old order.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, nope.
All right, all those in favor, Carl Melberg, aye. Sarah
Sarah
Seward,
Seward, aye.
James Pickard,
James Pickett, aye.
Andrew Samarco,
Andrew Samarco, aye.
Brian Crowley,
Brian Crowley, aye.
Kyle Maxfield,
Al Maxfield, aye.
Julie Rupp,
Julie Rupp, aye.
it's unanimous.
Okay. Request, let me see where I am here.
It's R 1230-14 Whitcomb Ave notice to sell coming out of 61A.
Yeah. I don't think, was in the plan to be sold. I don't think it was of any value to us.
Okay.
There's no concerns with the Sanderson family selling this lot. That's what our notes say.
Okay. So that was just information only. Okay.
Yeah. I think we have to put a vote to it that we're not interested, I believe. Isn't that correct?
Okay.
Well, isn't it? I'm just looking at the aerial photograph. It looks like it's directly adjacent to the wetlands. And the pump house. It's right next to the water department pump house too on Whitcomb Ave. So is the water department? It seems like that's zone A.
Was this part of the development?
I thought
Yeah.
the development was across the street for the water department. Is the water department buying it? Because that wouldn't concern me. But if it's, I mean, I guess development would be restricted because of the water supply, as well as its location right off of the wetlands there in Beaverbrook.
Right. So we could express an interest if it were to come to us and not, just not pass on it.
So how do you want to word that, Sarah?
Because 61A is right of first refusal, right?
Yeah.
So I would ask that.
For the town.
What? Yeah,
for the town. Yep.
Right. Yeah. So that was my understanding.
I think we can just go on record and say that we feel as though it is a valuable purchase if it does come available.
Okay, do we have to send a notification to the selectmen on that?
I think we can make a vote that we feel as though it has value. And so
Okay.
Amy could craft something in a week or two. So
All right. So basically, we want to vote on this as you so stated.
sure, if somebody wants to second the motion of support.
I'll second.
Okay, Carl.
Carl Melberg, aye. Sarah
Sarah
Seward,
aye.
James Pickard,
James Pickett, aye.
Andrew Samarco,
Andrew Samarco, aye.
Brian Crowley,
Brian Crowley, aye.
Kyle Maxfield,
Kyle Maxwell, aye.
Julie Rupp.
Julie Rupp, aye.
That's unanimous.
Good. Conservation Commission member appointments. I see Chase has reapplied, and I see Carl has sent in his application. Julie, are you gonna
Yeah.
send in an application or?
I did. No, I did it.
Good.
I did it today.
God, Julie, I thought you were getting called out there for a minute.
It's all right. You can call me out. Yeah, I did send it. I did send it in today.
That's good. That's great.
Excellent.
Westford Trail Connections. You got 3 minutes on this one.
I don't have any notes on that if someone does.
Do we have to revote the appointments? I thought Amy said that we had to do that.
Yeah, I thought
Well, we
needed
can do
to-
that.
With the contingency that no other applications get submitted. Is that what she said?
Isn't June 1 the deadline though?
The June
Yeah.
1st.
Yeah, June 1st is the.
That's what I think she said. We should vote, but have a disclaimer that our vote stands unless any other applications get submitted before the
So
deadline.
Kyle, because you seem so knowledgeable on that, I will ask you to make that motion, please.
Sure. I will make a motion to approve Julie Rupp's.
Second,
You're muted, Kyle.
Mute.
All right. I make a motion to approve or accept and approve Julie Rupp's application to continue being a Conservation Commission member, as well as Chase. I forget his last name.
Carl, Matt,
Gerbig.
Gerby. So Chase Gerby as well, pending, assuming that no other applications are submitted before the June 1st, 2021 deadline, application deadline.
second,
All right, all's in favor. Carl Melberg, aye. Sarah Seward,
Sarah Seward, aye.
James Pickard,
James Pickett, aye.
Andrew Samarco,
Andrew Samarco, aye.
Brian Crowley,
Brian Crowley, aye.
Kyle Maxfield,
Kyle Maxfield, aye.
Julie Rupp.
Julie Rupp, aye.
That's unanimous.
Okay.
Wait, does that mean Chase isn't a selectman anymore?
He
Yep.
hasn't been.
Western Trail Connections. I had attached a map to to the email with agenda, et cetera. Carl's discussion put lots of Littleton's interest in this. There has also been discussion of connecting at the point which wasn't being pushed for fear the folks walking to Market Mass, et cetera, then dumping trash as well as safety concerns, since this would be over the CR on private land. I'm assuming that
Andrew, do you want to, I think that map is in the slide deck. Can you pull that up or no?
I don't have my email open for that, but
I can pull it up real quick. I have it up.
Oh, perfect.
Can you make him a co-host?
Let's see.
I don't think you have to. I think Kyle should
You just do it.
Screen. Yeah, he should
Okay.
just be able to hit share screen and do it.
You're on mute again, Kyle.
Everybody see it?
Oh, perfect.
Yep. Awesome. And I think
Somebody
it
wanna
might be the
point this
next
out?
one.
Yeah, so
Yep, there you go.
great. So yeah, here's Mary Shepherd, the trail around Mary Shepherd. We were hoping to look into connecting this way through to Kennedy Pond, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I had brought this up since we're talking about Mary Shepherd, it seemed appropriate to look further into Westford and see if there was any possibility for making a connection onto those Westford conservation lands, because that eventually connects onto Mass Audubon property and would just open up a world of just beautiful hiking areas and incredible habitat. So Amy said that she would prepare this map, and then Andrew's a little bit familiar because he's on the Westford Trust also, so he's kind of familiar with that side of things. So we thought we could this wasn't meant to have a lengthy discussion, but just kind of get it on our radar and see if pictorially we can see anything.
okay.
Are the green areas, solid green areas in Westford, are those the Conscom preserved parcels?
I don't believe so.
No, I don't think so.
Those are wetlands. So as you get back,
Right.
those are the wet areas.
Exactly. I pulled up so this is their property boundaries. So Mary Shepherd comes in, I think it's right about in this area.
And those are private properties. Just so
Exactly. They're well, I mean, I guess they're under trusts. This is Neshoba Vine Brook Trust. And then the same thing up here. This is so these two parcels are owned that we would have to go through to get to Kennedy Pond are owned by the same trust.
So there's possibility if you said state trust?
It says Neshoba Vine Brook.
it's private. It's not state land. No.
Right.
But it's in some level of conservation or protection.
I'm not sure if that's true. I don't know what the Neshoba Vine Brook Trust is, so I don't know that it's.
I think in this case, it might just be like a realty trust, like a family kind of thing.
Oh, okay, I understand.
But like as Carl was saying, I mean, there's a very large 500-acre big preserve just north of Mary Shepherd, and if we could connect to it, I mean, that would be huge. So it's definitely something to explore and look into in the future. So
Yeah, I don't think that's. It's still private property. Like all of these lots are privately owned.
yeah, it would take quite a connection, and it's all Westford land for the most part. So
Right.
You're saying privately owned, but it's in that family trust, correct?
These ones are this one and this one that abuts it.
Sounds like somebody's tactfully got to go talk to some landowners and maybe walk the boundary, have some sort of a trail along the boundary or something.
Yeah, those are landlocked. I mean, there's no road abutting them right now, so they don't have any way to build yet. I guess I would say yet, because it looks like there might be a paper road between that development on the left there, or the upper left, and then that easement like looking thing. I don't know what it is.
Just up above your pointer. This looks like this coming off the cul-de-sac.
Yeah, right there and up there.
No, there's this is an easement. Yeah, this is owned by the state or the town. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it looks like it could be a road eventually.
If you hike
no,
around
it's
back
not.
there, I've hiked around Kennedy Pond. There's some old, sand and dirt roads and stuff. I don't know what, I mean, there was a sand pit back there.
I think that linear, what you're looking at, what you think is a road, I think may have been an old railroad track.
Yeah, I think you're right, Carl.
Would that mean there's some sort of perpetual easement or something there that could be utilized?
Potentially.
That's kind of a dead end. It seems like it would have kept on going through there.
I think there was like where that Vinebrook Road ends, I think they wound up hitting wetlands, or they probably would have gone all the way through. And then off of Snow Drive, which goes down through my neighborhood, when the Snow Village, my neighborhood, was originally put in, I think the plan was to have Snow Drive go all the way through that area, because on the westward side, there's a Snow Drive. So if you see down by the end of that cul-de-sac, if you follow Snow Drive down, I think the plan was to put that all the way through. But then they hit wetlands, because if you go to the other side of Westford, there's a Snow Drive. So they just didn't connect the two. So I think there's a couple instances. Yeah. I think there's a couple instances of that happening. People have been trying to get into that land, obviously, to develop it, but it hasn't happened yet. I'm hoping no one can get in there, because it's upland and very developable land. The only other place I could see someone potentially getting in there is from the horse farm in Westford. That's the only other option I see of potentially getting in there. But back to the issue, it is going to take some digging, but I think it'd be worth the effort. I think, to at least do a little bit of digging to see if there's any possibility.
I mean, the worst thing that happens is those property owners say absolutely not, right? And then we're just in the same position that we are now.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's the right.
Okay, I think we got another hearing.
And then, right, and it was brought up just for this discussion that we just had.
Okay.
And nothing else, Jim. Just putting it up on the radar, something we should think about, because it does open up a big expanse of land for the public.
That would, I guess it's a matter of somebody delegating somebody to go talk to some people, and yay or nay. Continued public hearing, notice of intent, 3 Laurel Lane, Mass R22-18-2, Mass D, file number 2049XX, new pool and rebuild patio. Somebody gonna speak to
Amy
that?
had mentioned that they do have a DEP number, and I think Matt is on to present this.
Yeah, hi guys. Matt Morrow here representing the applicants, Tim and Cassie Buck, who are also present. The DEP did issue a file number this afternoon without any comment. Amy did acknowledge receipt of that to me in an email. That happened late this afternoon. Of course, DEP, as usual, has been burning the midnight oil on their file numbers. So what we have here is, if I may be permitted to share screen. Am I allowed to share screen?
Yes.
Certainly.
Please do.
Okay. So what we have here is a notice of intent for a proposed 24-inch round swimming or 24-foot round swimming pool with a 230 square foot addition to a proposed patio extension and a 10 by 14 foot deck coming off an existing porch in a single family home at 3 Laurie Lane. There is a bordering vegetative wetland that I flagged that is shown in scale on this plan. Also shown in scale is the distance to the wetland, which is 60.1 feet. Switching here to another plan. Can you guys see this original plan? Just want to make sure when I switch it shows you.
Yep.
Okay. The original plan showed an isolated, what they called non-jurisdictional at the time because it predated the bylaw, where your isolated resource areas are now also protected, is in the front of the house. However, as you can see by example here on this all-over map that I pulled up, the distance from that wetland to the edge of the proposed work area on that side at the closest point, as you can see down in the left-hand corner, is 115 feet. So it is definitely out of the buffer zone. Even if you adjust slightly for scale, it is very unlikely within the buffer zone. My measurements in the field indicated 114 feet. So, I mean, it's probably off by a foot or two. But getting back to the pool here, we have a bordering vegetative wetland. You have your basic red maple swamp. It's actually pretty beautiful, although the edge of the wetland here is populated at the upland side with a lot of invasives that the bucks do keep under control by hand. The majority of it being like glossy buckthorn and some Japanese knotweed that is, cut down right at the edge of the buffer zone. Other than that, I mean, the applicants would propose let me pull up this again. If you look here, you get your wetland that goes just under the tree line here. They would propose to put staked in wattles at a distance from their lot line to just behind the house here, where this large tree is in the back, just before you hit the wetland area in the back right there. The reason why this didn't qualify for an RDA under the exemption criteria is because we're encircling with my hand. There is one medium-sized tree that is going to have to be taken out, stump and all. So that is going to be probably the most earth-intensive work other than the digging for the pool. That's basically it. It's a fairly simple and straightforward project.
Since there's digging, I assume you're going to be hauling the dirt off site?
The dirt would have to be hauled off site out of the buffer zone, yes. There's really no place to put it. There's really no place to put it on site. So, yeah, it would have to be hauled off. So the pool installer and the patio installer would haul that stuff up.
Matt, do you have a plan that has erosion controls on it?
I can add the erosion. Well, actually, I did. It was submitted with the NOI. Let me take a look. Excuse me for just a second. I'm going to have to pull it. But I'm going to stop my screen share for a minute because I have to pull that back up. But the NOI did have a sketch plan submitted by the applicant showing the wattles on it. I'll just pull that up for you. Just bear with me for one moment. Okay.
Matt, what season will this be attempted to be worked on?
I think that, well, the Bucks I know want it as soon as possible, and they're here. And Tim, I think you could answer that question more accurately than I could.
We're ready to start as soon as we know that we can put the pool in. So this season.
Now it looks like a raised pool, or is it? I mean, how deep do you actually have to go to put the pool?
So the pool installer man, the maximum he goes is like 6 inches of earth. Like the goal is to just scrape things so that it's level across. So it's an above ground pool. And I think that erosion control mat, that
it is on the plan, Tim. I can see it here. I'm just going to pull it up.
And I guess just my last questions, are there going to be any underground utilities or anything else added onto the plan that may not be represented?
To the extent you have a pool pump and an electrical outlet, but that is the extent of it. Yeah, they'll have to trench. They'll have to trench wire from where it's the an existing patio, sort of running it to the towards the left side of the boundary.
And then can you speak also to where the construction equipment would access the site as well? Are they going to come on the other side of the house?
No, it's too narrow to the right. They'll come sort of almost where that blue line is, sort of come around and then sort of, yeah.
Sarah, they'd have to come around this way off the driveway. If you start trying to access around here, you can see there's some heavy vegetation here. You also have a mild slope going over here. It's a lot flatter right here. So you'd be better off accessing it from the front and working out this way where my hand-shaped cursor is going. Also, the on the notice of
the. Are you still able to stay within the 61 footprint? In terms of construction?
Yes.
Okay.
And here is where the wattles were added onto this plan. The tree line comes up to right about here.
Right. What mark will the wattles be on? Within the 50?
They will be no closer than 50 feet. That would wind up being, like a safety zone limit set up. So in other words, the pool contractors would be instructed that they can't go beyond the 61-foot line. We can move this up if you want to ensure a more firm limit of work.
I think that would be encouraged.
Okay, that'll be done.
Is there any other vegetation that has to come down besides that big tree?
No, everything else is lawn. As you can see, this particular current aerial from 2019 is representative of what's on the site now.
And Matt, what's the existing patio made out of, and then what is the extension going to be?
Or, yeah, the proposed one. There's a proposed deck, right? Too.
Right. The proposed deck is a Trex decking. There is an existing paver patio out there. The paver patio would be extended. So
okay.
The entire square footage of work would be about 230 square feet, including the pool and the patio extension.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering if the existing patio is concrete or pavers.
No, it's a paver patio.
Yeah, I guess that makes it more convenient too to extend electric trenched under the patio. Okay. And then the Trex decking, that's installed like regular wood decking, right? So there would be slats that precipitation can get through.
How about sort of any columns or something like that? There must be foundation elements to it.
Well, as far as the deck goes, they would be, it would be posts in the ground.
But
and it would, obviously would be made to attach to the swimming pool.
There's not going to be any there's not going to be any walls to the decking.
No.
Okay. Because that does fall within the 100-foot. You have, and I'm not at liberty to see your plan that you submitted. Is that in your filing? Your construction sequence and what you're going to be using? So like not big equipment putting in those footers?
I didn't do a construction sequencing schedule to that degree, but I can add that into the plan as a condition of the order prior to commencement of work.
Okay.
I mean, just based on what you told me now, I know exactly what you're looking for. It'll be easy for me to add, you know, a table in for Amy to add into the order.
Okay. And just so the applicant does know, and Matt, I'm sure you've shared that, and we talked about it earlier, that basically any soils will be, as they dig them, they'll be hauled right out, that they won't be stockpiled in that area.
That is correct. I can work that out with the pool installer as well.
Right. Okay. Any of the commissioners have any other questions? I think, Matt, you just have to make sure that the erosion control and everything is well outside the 50-foot buffer.
I will make sure that's taken care of.
Is there going to be any, oh, sorry.
There are some things that have to be added to this plan. Do the commissioners wish to accept it without the additions?
Sarah, could you repeat what you just said? I didn't catch it.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Sometimes we don't sign off until we have the amended plan, but it's up to the commissioners if they want to go forward without the additions.
So, Sarah, just to recap, the additions would be to show a plan moving the erosion protection up as close to the work as possible outside the 50-foot, and a table of construction events along with a declaration that the work will take place no closer than the area shown away on the buffer zone to the limit of work, essentially.
Right, and that is correct. And I don't think that your erosion control is going to be just a straight line like that. I think it'll kind of wrap around a little bit as well.
Yeah, and that's easy enough to take care of. Again, if the commission wishes to approve an order, it can be contingent upon me submitting that to Amy prior to commencement of work. So in other words, work couldn't commence until such time as that documentation was submitted to her satisfaction. I mean, she'll know exactly what you guys are looking for. I'll make sure that it's done.
And you're putting the onus on us, not on you.
I'm sorry, that wasn't my intention. I just...
Yeah, we try not to create more work for the agent. So, but that's up to the commission.
One other question. Is there going to be any fencing around the pool, or is it just going to be a round circle like that?
No, there's no fencing proposed on this under safety regulations and zoning, because the pool is so far set back and it's an above ground pool under 6 feet. The only thing it has to have is a locking ladder. So in other words, you'd have to have a ladder that, you know, like I have on my pool, you could pull up at night when everybody's done swimming and put a padlock on it so that nobody can pull it down.
Okay, thanks.
In the essence of trying to shorten up some of these continuances, I would think it would be appropriate to have everything he said, but it's subject to Amy's approval that it all gets there before she issues the permit.
I mean, we usually don't vote on something without the final plan, but sometimes haven't we let people not come in the next time? As long as the plan and everything is in, then we vote on it the next meeting and they don't have to come in. We just vote.
If I may, you guys did allow that to happen on the filing I did at 47 Taylor Street with Mr. Barkovic with his wall and his septic system, with the condition that the profile plan be submitted to Amy prior to the commencement of work, which, by the way, is going to be in any day now because I had Mr. Barkovic retain the services of McKenzie Engineering over in Leominster, a structural engineering firm that is drawing the profile out. Actually, they should be almost done. So, I mean, that has happened in the past.
Did he put his septic system in yet, Matt?
Nope, hasn't done anything yet.
Still in failure. Okay.
Well, he's number one, he was waiting for the final bids on the wall. And the second thing was he was waiting for the structural engineer plan, which we're expecting any day now.
What do you want to do, folks, general?
In this case, I won't need to go to a structural. I can just simply adjust the drawings.
I think like Anna was saying, maybe it would be worth just having everything put into place, and then at the next meeting we can officially vote it through, but the applicant doesn't have to be present. Just so at least we have it in front of us, we can vote.
Can I just understand what the, just help me understand the difference between voting tonight and tomorrow? Because just my question is, I have to, we lined up contractors and everyone's getting busy, and I'd like to either commit to the work. So I'm trying to understand, if we were to move with what you suggested, Andrew, are my deposits at risk? Could something change between what we're describing now and what we're talking about a month from now? Like that's my concern, is if something changes between now and the next meeting.
I usually the board, here's out a plan like we did tonight. Typically, if the consensus is, hey, this is going to be approved by the board contingent on documents being submitted, just like we've discussed tonight, and there's no major changes in your plan, then I wouldn't expect there to be any, denial of it.
Yeah.
But I can't speak for the other board members. But usually that's how it works. When other applicants have been before us, it's just making sure all of our ducks are in a row, and we don't have Amy running around searching for things, after or while an order of conditions is being drafted and issued. So it's just making sure that we have everything in place. But to answer your question, if nothing changes and the consensus of the board is that everything's okay, then I don't see any reason why you'd have any issues. It would just be another 2 weeks.
The next meeting, June 7th.
I agree with Andrew that it's just tightening up the paperwork, but I feel as though it's something that you should feel positive about.
Great.
Yeah, Tim, what they've normally done in the past is when they've approved an order of conditions, they usually issue it within a couple of weeks. So what it sounds like what they're doing now is they're essentially saying, we'll draft an order contingent upon the changes that they've asked me to do. And once they're done, if it's done according to what they asked for, they would then finalize the order and allow it to be released based on the vote at the next meeting. So your timeline essentially would be identical.
Okay.
And I think that's actually very fair and very generous of them to do. Thank you.
But you need to remember that there's a 10-day appeal period too on this. After it's issued.
June 7th is the next meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
By the way, that land down there used to go a real good con. I found it at one point.
I'm sure you did. And then it was a mushroom farm after that.
Yep.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Have a great night.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
Continued public hearing notice of intent, 16 Middlesex, U15-114-0, Mass DE file number 204-931, construction of an additional deck. This is one of the
Hey guys, it's me again.
Yeah, hi, this is John Ledger, and Patricia's present as well. And Matt, we are working with Matt as well on this project. So, hi. So Matt, if you want to bring up the first slide.
Okay, so guys, the way we left it off was the commission wanted a updated plan, which I'm going to show here. This is the original plan showing the original limits of construction. It was an 18 by 15 kitchen addition with a deck in the dotted lines here at 235 square feet. And in the process of the hearings, what we have since worked out is I believe I have it here. Well, I had it. Let's get rid of this.
Yeah, Matt, checked it. Okay.
Yeah, and for some reason, I can't find the slide, John.
That's okay. I can describe it, and
well, I mean,
really quite.
I do have it drawn out for submission. It does show the reduction. Essentially, the original room was 270 square feet, 18 by 15. Current iteration is knocked down to 225 square feet, a 15 by 15 addition. The original deck was a 235 square foot deck. We're now proposing a 75 square foot deck. Basically a total of 300 square feet of total alteration with a reclamation area of 365 square feet. So it's better than a 1-to-1. So essentially, if you look at the outline of the yard where we have it here, we have the planting plan area, which is right here, which would basically go up into the wetland area to the right. And we have planting area, there it is, to the left.
Right, 2 photos showing the planting.
So that's the full extent of the arc of the developed area. The sod would essentially be taken up, and the planting plan that I showed you here, allowing for this particular mix and some high bush blueberry plants planted along this area here, right up by the edge of the wetland. So what you would have is you would have a reestablished naturalized area with a vegetative buffer to allow for attenuation of stormwater runoff, cleaning of the stormwater, and for a renaturalization of the buffer zone away from the wetland area.
And this is John, if I may make a comment, just as a reminder. So the kitchen now at 15 by 15, it replicates the existing footprint of the deck and stairs that are there now.
Though I thought one of the main reasons for continuing from last time is to have a new plan. Any way we can see that?
Yeah, I'm looking for it.
Well, yeah, and Matt, while you look for that, I mean, I prepared graphics, and it is, it's elementary, but it does, it's a side-by-side comparison. And again, it's an aerial photo of the home. It shows what the original proposal was and what the current plan is. And there's just 2 components of it, right? The size of the kitchen and the size of the deck. When we first came to the commission, the plan for the kitchen was to push out 18 feet, and we've brought that in to 15 feet. Again, so we replicate what is presently there. And then the original proposal had like this, sizable wraparound deck, and square footage, it was like 235 square feet. And now we've completely trimmed that back to what you see here.
And you can see right here, here's the updated plan. Here's the existing paver patio that would be removed. Here is the new proposed deck and the new proposed addition. Versus the original one, as you could see, was out farther with the entire kitchen, and the deck was proposed to come out here. So you can see a side-by-side comparison as to what is proposed and what was originally proposed.
So
Also on it has the, you can see it has the square footages of what the impacts are.
Wait, I thought the deck was going to be off to the left, not into
Yeah, I thought that, I asked about the staircase being removed last meeting. I thought that, I didn't think there was any deck on the southern portion of this view.
Right.
So on that, well, if you remember, originally we had the deck drawn so that there would be a portion on the side of the house and a portion on the back. So we've eliminated the side and just going in the back. And then a couple of important points there, I think. One, you may recall that will be a cantilever deck. And it's 5 feet in depth, so it's fairly short. Right. Yeah.
Okay, that's right. So there's going to be, you have the deck coming off that back of the kitchen but no means of access getting off of the deck.
That's Kyle, that's right.
Yeah, that's correct. It would basically be something that you would come off the kitchen from. And the whole point of putting it here was to prevent any further alteration in the pervious area where the grass is. So essentially, this alteration that's proposed is within a line of existing already altered area. This would be pulled out, and then there would be an area that would be renaturalized.
But if the deck's on a cantilever, you wouldn't disturb that area.
Well, we had proposed taking the pavers out as part of the renaturalization process, even though it's not part of the planting plan. We had offered that up also.
And on that point, this is John speaking. On that point, I don't think we can work with that either way. We can keep that patio, those pavers intact, and that's fine. We can live with that. And on the other hand, if we need to take them up, I think that's okay too. Yes, there's no stairway down, but that's okay. We'll live with that. But it offers just a small decking area that will be accessed by a door in the kitchen. Really very similar to the little balcony that you see to the right of it.
That'd be this area right here?
Well, that's the existing one. I'm just saying the new one will be very, very similar to that, though the construction will be different because it won't be on traditional post and beam. It will be cantilevered. So, and then beneath that presently are those patio pavers. And I know we're fine leaving them there. It would actually look pretty, I guess, if we kept it intact, and that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's the commission's wish. Whatever you guys want us to do, my clients will do.
Yeah, I mean, that's. And then also, I think an important point, you may recall this, but I had researched, techno metal pillar system, and that's what we're going to use, which again, it's kind of like drilling your support beam in versus a large excavated hole. And so that, is obviously much less disturbance of the ground.
Matt, I think we had talked about some invasives control at the last meeting as well as part of the vegetation management area. Could you refresh my memory as to what invasives you have out there and then what removal, if any, is planned for the project?
Well, the invasives are actually very limited on this side. There really isn't any invasives to speak of, but if I can just pull up one of the scan here. Okay. All right, I'm going to pull up the pictures of the yardway again.
Hey, Matt, while you're doing it, I just wanted to mention the table, the current and the proposed. It looks like it's the difference between the formerly proposed plan and the currently proposed plan versus we would want to look at existing conditions of the house versus the new plan when we look at, like the 1-to-1 ratio, what the first plan was and then what the next plan was isn't really something we we would prefer to see the measurement comparison between existing conditions and what's currently being proposed, because the prior proposed plan was a non-starter, as you recall.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so it'd be helpful to have a table that shows the difference between the existing house and the plan that's being proposed. Okay,
the invasives area starts essentially around this area of the side yard. You have mostly multiflora rose that is growing along the sides of the edge of the buffer zone to the wetland. The applicant is proposing to control that vegetation by hand removal of the multiflora rose. Essentially, they're just going to keep cutting it down around the edges of the yard to the wetland itself. They won't go into the wetland, but they'll keep it controlled at the edges here. If you look at this area here, the wetland is essentially adjacent to this area right here, and it goes around, and it's essentially an area that has a stream that was apparently dug out as a connection way years ago and has converted to BVW. It's very thinly vegetated, and it's not full of invasives at all, which is actually a good thing.
I would think though, for multiflora rose, it grows so fast that you can get a bush almost looking the same at the end of one summer as you did if you chopped it down in the spring. So I would think digging up by the roots is better for multiflora rose, in my experience anyway.
Okay. Duly noted. Yeah, pretty hard.
Not as hard as the knotweed, though. And thank God that's not there.
I thought there was knotweed kind of right in the area, no? Is that
not in this area? No, there is knotweed on adjacent lots, but it hasn't made its way to this area yet, thankfully.
You're lucky on that one. It'll
Yeah, you're not kidding.
grow right through your concrete in your driveway.
But I've actually done delineation work, as you guys know, on adjacent lots for septic systems, and yeah, I had to trudge my way through knotweed on the large wetland area across the street. That seems to be where it's predominantly at, is between a couple of the houses at the beginning of Middlesex on the right-hand side as you're going in. John's house is on the wetland section that is on the left-hand side. It's not, that area is not, and his neighbor's house, you can see here, the blue, isn't, the knotweed hasn't spread there yet.
Matt, can you bring up the picture that shows the, the original and the reconfigured? The depictions that has the two houses?
This, by the way, is the existing condition of the house as it currently stands today.
Okay, that's a good picture. And Julie, to your point, if I may, so what you see there, the outline of the deck and the outline of the sidewall of the deck in the back, not the side, in the back, and then the outward corner of the stairs. So that's 15 by 15. So that's what we're proposing that we.
This is where the kitchen would be going essentially. This deck would essentially be replaced with the kitchen.
Yep.
And the deck would essentially come out to here.
Right.
So
I understood that from the aerial photo.
Okay.
It was, my question was surrounding the table where there was some presentation surrounding, roofing and impervious surface, square footage of deck space and that type of thing.
Yeah, I can add that to the table. That won't be an issue.
Yeah, that was it. That was all my.
Yep, no, that's not a problem.
Existing versus currently planned, not various plans. We don't need to talk about that.
Yep, I can do that. That's not a problem. Just taking notes down. Yep. Okay.
So we all set on this now, so you can get it all finalized, drawn up?
Matt?
At the next hearing is on June 7th. Do you think you could have everything done for that meeting?
Yep, that'll be easy enough.
Okay. Thank you for coming.
This is John, and final question, if I may, and we too like the last session, so we just, you try to line up contractors and they have schedules. So may we ask for just a sense of the probability? Is it likely this will be approved, or is it unknown?
I think if you're engineer, you work in conjunction with him and he can follow what we asked this evening. I think we're down that right path to being positive.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody's time. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks again, guys.
Continued public hearing, notice of intent, 5 Cottage Way.
So Amy had let me know, so 5 Cottage Way has been continued along with 11 Scott Road at the 8:45 has been continued. And then the 9 p.m. notice of intent Healy is the 3rd continuation. So
Well,
those are all continued to, I do not know the day. So,
Okay,
so
so we
just
could go
have,
back to 42 Shagbark discussion.
Yep, we finished the Westford Trail, so we have 42 Shagbark, and then I'm not sure if there's any other administrative discussions.
So
Well,
what's
the
the
11
story?
Scott Road will hopefully just be to the next meeting. He was almost finished with the plan, but just wasn't quite there yet. So hopefully it's just the next one. We're almost there. Oh, sorry. This is Camille Legault with 11 Scott Road.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
What's
Fine,
the,
yep, good. Okay.
what's the story with 42 Shagbark discussion?
I don't know. I don't have any of the backup notes.
Can table until next meeting unless Amy's around, so I guess that's dead.
Right. Okay.
Other administrative updates and administrative action. I did happen to see an article, I think it was in the Lowell Sun, that talked about the point and there's all the sewage problems up there.
Yeah.
They seem like they're having trouble getting financing to do the first part of the thing, never mind of the septic system, never mind the second part, according to the paper.
Right. Yeah, and I think that the update that we had from their engineer aligned well with what DEP. I had asked Amy if we needed to be more involved, but felt as though that DEP is very involved, and that as long as we are in the loop, I don't think there's anything else. We have so many other projects to follow on, but they're really having to, cross their T's and dot their I's now for sure.
We did ask them to sample the surface water, and they did agree to that. The water department was interested in that as well.
Yep.
But yeah, there's, jurisdiction really falls under Mass DEP, and they came and provided us an update, and we verified that we didn't need to do anything with extending an order of conditions, so that if, they need to do something, they can do so. But I agree with Sarah, there's not much else.
I was just surprised the extent of what had gone on, according to the newspaper article, actually trucking away the sewage.
Well, and that was presented. So during the meeting, and also Amy shared with us the filing for that. That was a couple weeks ago. So, yeah.
But it seems kind of.
I agree. I think it's hard when you have so many restaurants that systems aren't built to have just one kind of tenant like that. So.
Well, something to do with the grease traps coming out of the village on the green, or something hadn't been installed.
Right.
But it just seems like, in retrospect, maybe we should have required that the septic system been completed before they ever started renting out the buildings.
Well, perhaps, but we got stuck into the phases of it.
Yeah.
And that's what happens sometimes when we get these multiple phase projects. But,
yeah. Yeah.
Or when someone comes in and says, "Oh, Department of Health said it's fine," like the board's kind of pointing,
Yeah. I don't think any of us thought there were going to be so many restaurants, but anyway, so
for sure.
So I don't know that we have any pending site walks. When Amy's back, if there's anything, I can have her send that around. But
did you do the Mary Shepherd site walk? I know that might have been last Tuesday. Did everybody get to go, or just a few?
It was me, Carl, Kyle, Jim O'Neill, Amy, and a lot of neighbors, and we actually
Matt Cahill.
Oh, and Matt, sorry. And
good.
We basically told them that there wasn't enough time to add it to this meeting's agenda, so we're going to put it on the next so that they can come in.
Okay.
Awesome.
How about the Smith property? I see that was floating around. Did you go to that, Andrew?
I think that one got pushed as well.
Yeah, it got postponed.
Okay. I hope everyone's being cautious with all the ticks.
Yeah.
So bad.
Julie, so going back to water sampling real quick, our company's actually working with Beals over at the Taylor Street property apparently. So those wells are going in. The wells are supposed to be going in within a couple weeks. I was supposed to get involved because I am in town, but there was a little conflict of interest, or
Just
so.
a tad.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to the site just to help out, lay some stuff out. So, but I'll have easy access to data, I guess, once it starts coming in.
Yeah.
So I would imagine within a month or two, they'll have kind of like their baseline data.
Nice.
It
They're
appears they've torn the building, that second building down, and the paving over there now.
That's what it sounded like. Yeah, I'll find out tomorrow when I check it out. I'll be headed over there tomorrow morning. So.
What site is that? You said Taylor Street?
Yeah, 151,
Amazon.
153. Yeah, the Amazon, the new Amazon facility.
Oh, the Amazon. Yeah. Okay.
So they're installing the additional wells that we requested for the groundwater monitor.
That's just a parking lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Parking lot.
So going back to the point just for a second, Jim, did you say they were having trouble getting financing to?
That's according to the paper, because he had trouble trying to get financing to complete the.
They told
septic
us
system.
that too.
That, just as a point of order, that wasn't on for discussion.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right.
They did.
Everyone be well. Anyone want to make a motion to adjourn?
What about Healy Corner down at the end?
They are continued as well.
Do we need
That's great. That's a good thing.
Matt, did you put in an application for an associate? Is that something that has to happen?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. She said something about being the liaison with Shade Tree.
Okay.
So I don't know what that entails.
I know that was part of the vote last week, so I just wasn't sure if we needed to do.
Yeah, I'll have to circle back with her.
Only got a few days left.
No, well, the select board has to, I guess my concern is June 1st is the deadline. And so then the select board has to vote. So I'm wondering if we need to vote again for Matt, since it was part of the null vote last meeting, because Carl and I hadn't put our applications in yet.
I think it would be good to cover all the bases.
That's what I'm thinking.
Absolutely.
So I'll make a motion to appoint Matt Cahill as an associate to Conservation Commission.
Second.
All those in favor? Carl Melberg, aye. Sarah Seward.
Sarah Seward, aye.
James Pickard.
James Pickard, aye.
Andrew Samarco.
Andrew Samarco, aye.
Brian Crowley.
Brian Crowley, aye.
Kyle Maxfield.
Kyle Maxfield, aye.
Julie Rupp.
Julie Rupp, aye.
Wow, that's unanimous. With the stroke of a vote, we have Matt back.
We didn't even ask him if he wanted to do it.
We did ask him at the last meeting. We may have encouraged him.
We heavily encouraged him.
Well, and we let him know he would have more freedom too.
Gotta keep those trees going in the common.
Yes. Yeah, they look nice. Thank you.
Yeah, they look great.
Yeah,
Nice
they got some good ones.
It's dry.
Now we have to put some more in along the lake.
Well, yeah, that's the remainder of the fiscal year funds. We're trying to get the ones for Park and Rec for by the boathouse and all that.
That's good.
There should be some funding coming from Amazon or that business. I thought they would agree to help fund some trees or something at one point.
Yeah, there's a lot we got to do to get this thing back together. So it's good. It's good to have some funding and then set up the streams for the additional funding. You know, we're going to close out the grant that Amy had got, that we did the tree guidelines with, and that should pay for a few more, and then allow us, to take our annual funding to, start doing other stuff around town finally.
That sounds great.
Yep.
Getting there.
Yeah.
I think we voted to adjourn. No, we didn't.
We didn't. Motion to adjourn.
Ask
Eight-
Matt to be able to stay
8:53.
on. Somebody want to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Yeah,
Is there a
Julie.
second?
All right, all in favor, Carl Melberg, aye. Sarah Seward,
Sarah Seward, aye.
James Pickard,
James Pickard, aye.
Andrew Samarco,
Andrew Smarco, aye.
Brian Crowley,
Brian Crowley, aye.
Kyle Maxfield,
Kyle Maxfield, aye.
Julie Rupp.
Julie Rupp, aye.
That's unanimous.
All right.
All right.
Good night, all.
Good night, everyone.